Well, Mark, a quick turnaround from Saturday's game with a long Tuesday night trip to Salford for your side. So what's the last 48 hours been like?
Up and down, disappointed in terms of the result on Saturday, but it's so important we reflect on the performance, and we're 10 seconds away from everybody walking away, continuing a really good run, getting a point against an excellent side in a game where we felt we could have came away and easily won that game. So I think you have to be very balanced in your reflections on the game. Ultimately, the most important thing is winning games in football, but as I said, we're 10 seconds away from what would have been a really, really good performance. It was, but unfortunately the result didn't reflect that.
You talk about that reflection so much. You spoke so passionately about your disappointment from Saturday's home defeat against Doncaster. So on reflection, what are some of the key focuses that we can take from that game?
I think, unfortunately for us on Saturday, we found the way to lose. When you lose a game, and I think I touched on it with yourself, when you lose a game, you would hope in a way when you come away from it, there's always lots of learnings, but you want to come away from it and say, you know, on the day the team were better than us and stuff like that. But it's particularly frustrating to come away from a game when you feel like you've played a huge part in it yourself. There's also a real positive in that, because I think there's not a quick fix in that, but I think there's an easy fix in that. However long it takes is debatable, but when we look at how we lost the game, I would like to think there are things as a coach and staff we can fix. And I'll give you a good example. So set pieces against have hurt us this year. If you finish in the plus column on set pieces, so if you conceded 10 and scored 12 set pieces, you're plus 2. If you were in the Premier League, the suggestion would you would stay up with that type of record. If you were plus 4 in the Championship, the suggestion would be you would get a great chance of getting promoted. Now, ours is 0 at the minute, which is a really, really good balance. Unfortunately, we've conceded 5, but we've happened to score 5. So I do think in terms of defending set pieces, we can be better on that. I do think we can fix things there. So that'll be a big plus for us, because it's a big part of the game. But on the reflections, they're the things I look at. Port Vale, set piece and a mistake. Carlisle, 2 set pieces. Saturday, 2 set pieces. So they're things we need to address pretty quickly.
Looking behind the scenes, you have a lot of experienced players that have played a lot of games at this level. So how important of a role do those players play when you look to move forward and ahead to tomorrow's game?
Huge. It's been a big loss to us. And just for example, in terms of those set pieces, they're things where they'll be heavily influential in that, because it's not in terms of we're not vulnerable on set pieces. They're just key individual errors that happen. Unfortunately for Russell Martin at the weekend, I seen the set piece in this game, and felt for him in his interview afterwards. You can see the frustration in his voice and in his face and how he's talking. But that's football. These things happen. The human errors. But I think in terms of the seniority in a group, they'll play a huge part in those elements of the game. 94th minute, not going to score. And obviously in them minutes there's changes within the game, within substitutes. You've got 5 markers in a specific position, 3 of them might not be on the pitch. You're marking different people. Your front spaceman might be different, your middle zone man. There's lots of things that can happen. I just think in a calm and influence with those senior guys can make a difference in that area.
Notably, some of the positives from Saturday's game was the return of Harry Smith, who played 45 minutes and got a goal, and Kabongo Chimanga with 25 minutes, while Rozel Longelo continues to build his fitness.
Really positive, and I thought what was good in how they impacted the game. Cabs has got brilliant attributes. I thought he showed them well with backing in, his linking in and around the box. He can get people rolled in the box. I was really pleased Harry got his goal, because he's off the mark in the league. Ros with an assist, which is what he came in for. So it was good to see them impact the game. The most important thing is minutes in legs and time on the grass. And the more we can get into them, the more they're readily available. Because at the minute, although we've got a lot of our players back, they're load compromised. So we know on the game on Saturday, Cabs can only play a maximum of 30 minutes, etc., etc. We'll have players involved in the game tomorrow that will be limited in what they do. So the longer on the grass, the longer they're about, those minutes go up. So the big plus for us at the minute.
Looking at the game as a whole on Saturday, Paul Glatzel substituted at half-time. George Cox, someone that you're managing minutes for at the moment. So how are both of those players following Saturday, and how are players such as Jeff King, Grant Hall and Harrison Minturn returning?
So both slightly different. Coxey's 100%, he's fine. Played a hell of a lot of minutes, so and his numbers were actually still good in terms of physicality on Saturday, but we need to protect and look after him, especially when you got someone like Ros. Glatz is a little bit more difficult, came off as a precaution, trained today. We just need to do the right thing by him and what's best for him. Harrison was back in full training today, which is really, really important. I apologise, I don't really reference Grant Hall. Grant's back with us on training, just load compromised minutes as well. And look, Jeff's a very delicate one. He's had a severe loss in his family, something we're very mindful of, something I want to, as much as we have to answer these questions, it's really important to be open and honest with people, and with Jeff's best wishes. His family have had a really, really difficult time, and I just think it's at the minute with Jeff, he's desperate to be part of what we're doing and what we're trying to achieve. But I think the most important thing for him and his family is to spend some time together, and hopefully he'll heal well, I should say, not properly. So huge thoughts and prayers with Jeff.
Looking ahead to your opponents tomorrow, so looking at Carl Robinson's Salford side, they're regarded as a direct through their style of play. So what do you know about them, and what threats will they pose?
Look, Carl's an outstanding manager. He's had an outstanding journey so far, a lot of games under his belt, a lot of success, so knows the level, being very successful, very, very experienced. Coach very, very, one of the, you see lots of coaches now today, young coaches and stuff like that. Like Carl was probably one of the first that changed the evolution of that kind of coaching mindset. So very good side, very good club, famous for obvious reasons. Huge growth in the last 7, 8, 10 years. Going to be a tough game, tough place to go. The utmost respect for Carl and his team and what the threats they'll pose to us. So it'll be a very, very tough game, but it's another game we go to in good spirits, expecting to go there and hopefully win a game.
Sean Wood's academy side were drawn against Newport County at home in the first round of the FA Youth Cup. Given how impressive the club did in the competition last year, and given some of the younger players featuring for the first team already, I presume it's a game that you'll be keeping a close eye on.
Yeah, we'll be there. We're really looking forward to it. Obviously next week, so it'd be nice to see the guys. It'd be nice to see them against their peers as well. A lot of the guys, they train with us a lot. We do a lot of IDPs with them on a Tuesday, so we get to see a lot of the kids. As you've seen, a few have appeared in the first team this year. And when they've been with us, they've done really, really well. So it'd be nice to see them playing against their peers this week, and looking forward to supporting them.
And just lastly, on IDPs and looking at the players that you got out on loan at the moment, how do you assess their development so far?
Really, really well. We've had some good news and bad news, obviously, in terms of injuries. Some work, some don't work. You can't get them all right. You go in with an open mind to try and pick a club and a formation and a philosophy that's going to reflect the kids. I spoke to Billy today. Billy's having an outstanding loan, just to reference a player, and he's having an outstanding loan, was man of the match. And we were just talking about, if Billy had stayed and trained with us today, it's a match day -1. He'd had a very bit part training. He would have been involved in very little of it, because when we do 11v11, sometimes we've got over 22 players, so you end up stood on the side, you become detrained, and your programme hurts. So for all the right reasons that you want to do the right things, it's so important, and he's thriving in his environment, as are other lads. We've had some very, very successful loans. My frustration is not being able to get to see them firsthand, which we'd like to do. The flip side of that, as a club, we have a hybrid model where they still spend a lot of time training with us, and on certain days they train with the clubs and obviously play with the clubs. So we do get to have, get to have contact with them on a personal level, and we still get to see them training with us. But you can see the growth in them, in the body language and how it looks on a daily basis. So I think our loan model's worked really well for us this year.